Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Alex Huffman, a Division player from the Magic City Pinball League, and today we're going to be taking a look at Pinball in Pelham. This is the third Pinball in Pelham tournament that we've had over at Mike Gray's Southern Coin Op and Amusement down in Pelham, Alabama. And we had 15 banks of three different games apiece, each with a solid state, a DMD, which is a dot matrix display, newer game, and a
Okay,
electromechanical
slide
game.
with some Memorex, baby.
So, we're going to be taking you through three games of Spider-Man.
This thing's
That was the
very
chosen
strange.
game of the tournament. That's the one we decided to record. And then we're also going to be taking you through the last three games of the tournament played by the top players in the tournament, including Chris Warren, Timothy Street, myself, and Chris Compton from Georgia. So, up first on Spider-Man right here, we have Stephen Gentry. Stephen is one of the players that comes for us from Auburn. He and his son Braden bring the mounts and the whole Auburn crew every time we have a big tournament here. This is actually the largest tournament we've ever had in the state of Alabama, with 56 players competing. We saw players from Tennessee and Georgia. We had a lot of players from Millington, Tennessee, which is near Memphis. David Job is doing a great job of starting leagues up there, getting those guys really involved. We like to see them as often as we can. So, congratulations and thanks to those guys who came down and played with us.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, this Spider Man is set up to be really difficult. Uh, the outlane posts are all the way up, and the ball save is turned off. So, if you lose the ball, that's it. You don't get the ball back. That's it. That's the end of your ball. And it may seem unfair to some, but you know what? This is a long playing game, and we have to keep the tournament moving. So, big thanks to Mike Gray at Southern Coin Op and Amusement for keeping all these games, all 40 plus, 45 plus games in great shape for the tournament and also the state championship the week before. So, Steven's going to lose his first ball with, let's
Okay,
see,
same order, right?
little less than 6 million on that ball. Not a horrible start, not a great start. This game is playing difficult, like I mentioned, but let's run through a couple of the strategies. One of the main strategies in this game are your multi-balls. So you want to start your black suit multi-ball, it's called. You can see the green flashing targets on the left side of the playfield. Just north of that is a little green flashing arrow. You have to hit that target, which is a dangerous shot, and then you have to hit either the left or the right orbit to lock in a ball towards multi-ball. The other option is what you just saw Chris Warren shoot right there, the Doc Ock shot. Shoot that twice, and that will start lend me a hand multi-ball, and then if you continue to shoot it after you lose that multi-ball, it will start another ball after a certain amount of shots, another multi-ball. So your Doc Ock modes are going to be multi-ball modes, so it's another great strategy. Chris likes to use his either one or the other multi-ball to play towards one or the other to the other one. So if he starts Doc Ock, lend me your hand multi-ball here, he'll use that to play for locks towards his black suit. So his strategy is the same one that I like to take because he's the one who talked to me, and it works really well. Chris is one of the better players in the state, day in and day out. I think he is number one, obviously, and with that comes being the top seed in the tournament. Great player, great guy. He's the founder of the Magic City Pinball League. He's been playing for a little over 9 years, and he's going to be out there. But you know what? There's nothing to be too upset about there. It's really nothing you can do, and he's going to end the ball with just over 7 million. So not great, not bad, but I think he will be happy with the progress that he's made towards his multi-balls on that first ball. So this is Mark Zwarziak. Sorry, Mark, if I'm not pronouncing that wrong, if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Mark joins us from Georgia, and he actually won this tournament last year. Played really well, and we're glad to have him back. So we'll see if he's able to put up a decent ball here on the first ball Spider-Man. You'll see the grid towards the bottom center of the playfield. Difficult drain out of the center of there. Probably could have saved that ball, but that's an opportunity to take there to see what the tilt's like on this game, because you really didn't have a whole lot built up in bonus. The scores in front of you are pretty close, and wouldn't have been horrible to tilt there because of the penalties, and you would know on the second ball where exactly you were at. But if you're looking at the grid in the middle, towards the bottom near the slingshots, You can see there are various inserts lit. If you hit all your white shots, that will start a hero mode, and if you hit a villain mode shot enough, it will start a villain mode. If you complete all of your villain modes, which are the more practical and better scoring of the two options, it will start Battle Royale Multi-Ball. I'm not sure if we'll get to see anybody get there today. That was a really great shakeout right there. So, wow, that was excellent play. Nice showcase of skill here, and he's got a lock towards multi-ball. Or, I'm sorry, he still has not lit his lock, so you can see the pick target still flashing green. See if he elects to take a shot at. Let's see if he elects to take a shot here at the target. It's a really dangerous shot. Unfortunately, it is sort of a requirement. Nice decision by Ellis Mount there, who's the player on your screen, to bounce off the center post there. Really nice play. So he has started Lend Me Your Hand multi-ball off the Doc Ock shots. And now is an opportunity, like I was saying, to take that pick shot, that stand-up target right there like he did, which now he has lock lit on the orbit. See if he's able to lock the ball and make progress towards Black Suit multi-ball while maybe picking off a few jackpots for his Lend Me a Hand. Spider-Man is a kind of game where it's a lot of grind. It's not particularly lucrative on any one shot, so your multi-balls are going to be more of an insurance policy than anything else. There is an add-a-ball available underneath the upper right flipper right there, that flashing red arrow. So he's got his one lock um, towards his second multi-ball already. He's out of the Lend Me Your Hand. And again, repeated shots to Doc Ock will start a multi-ball. See what Ellis is able to do here. I believe the second one is 8 shots to Doc Ock, but a lot of players will take the strategy of what's called Doc Ock all day, which is when you do exactly what it sounds like. Another great decision off the center post there. It's hard to see on the video, but there's a post right there with a rubber. The only thing that's not difficult to set up on this is they left the rubber in place, which often can be more of a hindrance if you think it's going to go right down the middle and it doesn't. That's the third one. Really great job and decision making there from Ellis. And the tilt is pretty fair on this. You can get away with probably one really good move. And that's probably the way that most games should be set up in a tournament setting, and that ball's gone. But he has lit his third lock for his multi-ball, his Black Suit multi-ball, so when he steps up to his second ball, all he has to do is make an orbit shot and begin multi-ball. So, Ellis is in the lead after ball one with 13.2 million, and up comes Stephen Gentry again. Stephen comes with Ellis and the Mounts. I don't know who rode with who, but they all rode together from Auburn. They like to do the takeover every time we have a tournament. We love having these guys around. So he is in Lend Me Your Hand multi-ball off of the Doc Ock shot. Let's see if he's able to make up any ground on Ellis. That would have been a good opportunity to dead bounce that ball from the right flipper to the left flipper. A dead bounce is when you don't do anything at all, you don't flip, and you let the momentum of the ball carry it from one side of the flipper, from one flipper to the other side, where you can get a nice controlled catch. Some players don't really ever develop that skill, and I would argue that it is extremely important. I know that he does have that skill. I've seen him do it before. He just chose not to do it on that particular opportunity. Didn't cost him the ball, but his sort of freestyle play, you could make the argument that if you are more controlling in your multi-balls, that they'll last longer is typically the case. So he is going to bring in Black Suit multi-balls, 3-ball multi-ball here. And he's pretty much caught up to Ellis at this point. But again, he's already sort of gone through his multi-balls, whereas Ellis just started and has an opportunity to start one as soon as he gets up. So it's something to keep in mind as you go through your ball here. You really have to think about putting some separation between you and Ellis, regardless of who's stepping up here, because none of the 3 players really had an excellent first ball. So he's picking up a few jackpots here. Now he's doing nice controlled play. That's really what you want to see. I had a player ask me in league on Monday, well, how do you control your multi-balls? It's something that you have to practice. You have to to be able to trap up and make a decision on the fly about whether or not that ball is going to be able to be captured, or if you have a better opportunity to catch it later if you just fling it away. Sometimes that's the best thing to do, and the best time to do that is during ball save. If you have once you start a multi-ball, you'll get a brief ball save for 10 to 15 seconds. During the first 10 seconds, you should probably whale away because you can swing with impunity. If you drain those balls, it doesn't matter, and you'll get them back. But when the light starts to flash, you need to start thinking about, okay, time to trap up those balls, because that will give you some time. If you happen to miss one and it goes down, you'll still have an opportunity to get it back. But at the same time, if you are able to trap it up, go ahead and do so, because that will give you some options for controlling the other balls that are still in play. So it looks like he just completed the Sandman. I think that's worth a couple million, 2 to 4 million. So he's jumped out to a nice lead here. Really doing a great job of putting some separation between him and the other players. This is a game that tends to play pretty long, so hopefully he can keep it going. And even though this is a difficult one, Spider-Man is just one of those games that can really benefit a player who's able to keep the ball in play. If you see the targets on the left side, those are currently worth about 750,000 points a shot, which adds up really quickly in this game, but you have to be careful because those are dangerous shots. If you hit those targets on the left, more than likely you're going to have some side-to-side motion afterwards, which in pinball is usually not a good thing, which leads to slingshots, which leads to out lanes, especially on something set up as difficult as this is. And there's a really good example of that. That left out lane has been particularly brutal for these players so far. And that was a really good ball from Steven, so he's going to end with 49-6 after 2 balls, which is pretty good on this Spider-Man. Up next again is Chris Warren. Chris knows this game really well. We have this on location where we have our normal league nights, Magic City Pinball League nights on Tuesday nights. So he's going to go ahead and start his Doc Ock multi-ball. There is a super jackpot available, I believe, on this multi-ball if you hit all of the shots. But let's see if he's focusing on that. Probably not. I know he likes to work towards his other multi-balls and pick up jackpots where he can. So he's just sort of flailing away, like I said, using that ball save time to pick up some jackpots. Just noticed a shot right there towards the stand-up target to light his lock for the other multi-ball, for the black suit multi-ball. So he's going to drain out. He'll be out, but I think he's going to go right into his first lock. So this is a position where you kind of have to think about your strategy. So if you're going to take those dangerous shots at the stand-up target for your multi-balls, for your locks towards your black suit, you have to be ready to catch the bounces that come straight towards the out lanes when you do that. So we'll see what he decides to do here. He finished off his Sandman, which is always a good idea. It's worth a couple million. Easy thing to get when you're in multi-ball, because when you're flailing away, the balls sort of naturally flail towards the center of the playfield. Nice show of control. He's a very controlled player. He's a very stop and go, likes to think about what he's going to do, likes to stop the ball if at all possible. So he'll let the ball come to a rest here again. He and I have very similar playing styles. And he's very smart, very good player. He's a big-time tournament player. He came in 4th in Louisville this year, which is a Papa Circuit event. So that's a really impressive finish. And he's one of the better players in the state day in and day out for sure. So it looks like he's just kind of picking up small points at the moment. So he's about a little less than halfway from where Steven is right now. So those green goblin targets at 750 apiece. There's a really good showcase of why that's not generally a good strategy, because it'll send the ball going crazy ways, and when you get towards the out lane, especially on the left side on this game, you're gonna have a bad time. So Mark will be up here on ball 3. He's down about 33 million, which can be done. That's doable in this game, but the way that this one is set up plays so hard. And like I was saying earlier, you just have to sort of chunk away at it. There's not one shot that's going to get you 33 million on this game like it would maybe, let's say, an ACDC or something with similar scoring. You don't really, when you stack your multi-balls, you don't really increase your jackpots that much. He's going to be out the left out lane there. You don't really increase your jackpots all that much. So it's better to play your multi-balls separately than it is to try and stack them together, because you're basically denying yourself an opportunity to have another multi-ball than you would be if you were stacking them together. So we'll see what else is able to do here. He put up a pretty good first ball. You can see he's trying to short plunge here. I think there's a skill shot available if you hit that upper left ramp. A super skill shot, which he missed. I don't know how I feel about that. If there's a ball save on the game, I think that's probably a good idea. I mean, something to go for. It's not worth a whole lot of points, but it adds up, and I would consider doing that if there were a ball save. So right now he's trying to hit the ball off the magnet for his second Doc Ock multi-ball. He's up to 4 balls currently, and there he goes. So right now you want to pick away at targets. You want to do sort of what he's doing right now, just sort of let him fly. And he's got his green goblins lit on the left side. You can see those are 1.7 right now, so he's really racking them up at the moment. The Doc Ocks really aren't worth that much. They're only worth 400,000, which, I mean, if you string a few of them together, sure, I mean, they will get you there. But you also have 750,000 point shot available on the left side right now, or I'm sorry, 1.7 million, and you're in multi-ball and you have your insurance policy. But he just cleared it out right there. So there was a good example of missing the center post. It looks like it's going to be right on the hip, and you have to be darn sure, because if you miss, then it's going to go down the drain. But another good ball from Ellis there, and we'll see if Steven is able to put some points up on the board here. So he's in a position where all he needs to do is extend his lead. He needs to put as much distance between him and second, third, and fourth place as he can, and that's certainly going to help. So one more shot to Doc Ock right there where the magnet is. We'll start his next Doc Ock mode. He'll have a good opportunity to shoot for it on the fly right here, and he kind of got, it's a little unfortunate right there, because sometimes that shot can be a little tricky. Sometimes it'll register and sometimes it won't, and that's pretty true for a lot of Spider-Mans out there. I'm not sure why that is. But let's see if he's able to get control. He's picking up 750,000 apiece on the side there, on the left side where the green targets are. I'm not sure why he was going for his drop target there. That's something I would have waited on for multi-ball. But he's able to get his lock. I think it's his second lock. Extra balls are turned off. He has it lit. So he collected it for 5 million points, but that's all he gets. He doesn't actually get to play an extra ball. It's in tournament mode. So if he needs to be taking that shot towards Doc Ock, and there it is. So he's going to start his second Doc Ock multi-ball. And we'll see if he uses this opportunity to work towards locking balls for Black Suit, or at least hitting the stand-up target to lock his third ball. What you don't want to do is stack them. And that's kind of unfortunate there, because what the idea behind the mode is that it will give you a certain amount of time as a hurry up, and you can see the score counting down. And if you're able to hit it, I think it gives you a 3-ball multi-ball instead of a 2-ball multi-ball. But he's going to get that back. He's still under ball save, so not a huge deal either way. Steven's a good player. They have several games at home, and they play in their regular Auburn league. So and he comes to all the tournaments that we have. So his son Braden finished fourth in the state championship series just a week before we recorded this, and that's going to be the end of his ball. But that's okay because he's in he's in first. He's not happy about draining there, which is understandable. But at the same time, 70 million on the Spider-Man is pretty good. So you're
Yeah.
talking about around 50 million for even your closest competitor to come back. And I know you're playing the best in the state, so it is certainly possible. It's just unlikely based on how difficult this game is set up. But we'll see how much Chris can chunk away at it. Nice lucky ball off the center post there. So all he has to do is hit that Doc Ock shot one time, and he'll have his Doc Ock multi-ball ready. You can see he went for the backhand on it. Most players will choose that because you get actually better rejects if you happen to miss. The ball's going a little bit slower. You have more time to react than it would if you had taken it from the left flipper. So he's going to start his Oscorp multi-ball, Doc Ock multi-ball, and we'll see what he's able to put up here. So he's trying again to hit the ball into play from the magnet. So he's going to take a backhand shot at it. He's going to start it. That's going to give him an extra ball in play, and he'll have 3-ball multi-ball. So you can see he took his lock shot there. I don't know how many locks that was. Let's see. Didn't say the DMD animation skipped it, but I think it was the second one because it didn't kick out another ball. Let's see. So he is stacked multi-balls. He has stacked them. So he's got 4 balls in play, and basically everything on the play field is lit for jackpot. Nice ball off the center post. See, that's one thing that Chris does really well is trap up during multi-ball. He's really good at the multi-ball control. So he's got 4 balls where he can take shots, and he can put 1 ball in play, and he's got 3 other balls that are insurance policies. And he can continue to score. So he's just trying to pick off Sandman now. I think he's really close, and it lifts up and down. It's hard to tell in the video, but you have to hit it when it's up, and that will finish off the mode, be good for at least a couple million. So there goes that ball. So he's down to 2. He's got extra ball lit right there for 5 million on the collect, so that was a good decision. And he finished off the Sandman. So nice showcase of 1-2 punch right there from Chris. And he's getting pretty close to where Steven's score was. He's right at around 50 million right now and has a strong multi-ball going. If you can dial in on that upper left shot, that's important. Like all Steve Ritchie games that have an upper shot, it's usually a good idea if you can hit that repeatedly. So let's see where he's at here. He's going to take a breath and take a second. He's at 57 million. So he's about 10 million away. And if you're thinking, okay, well, how do I get to 10 million from here? Well, it's kind of difficult because he's in a bit of a sticky situation because he's not really close to anything. I think the strategy he's probably going to choose here is to hit Doc Ock over and over again, probably another 8 or so times, just like that, until he gets to his next multi-ball. It's part of that Doc Ock all day. And the reason behind that is because the shot is generally pretty safe. Certainly much safer than trying to hit the stand-up target for nice slap save from Chris there. And that's trouble, and it's gone. So he's going to put himself well in the second place. That was a good job coming back. I don't think the bonus is going to get close to... Oh, closer than I thought. So he loses just by about 1.5 million points there, 1.67 million. So great ball by Chris, although just not quite enough to edge out Steven. But he did put himself solidly in second place. And we're going to have Mark up here for his third ball, and we'll see what he's able to do.
Trust me, I've done it before. I was playing Timmy when I was playing Timmy.
Nice upper ramp shot there. And that's going to be the end of Mark's ball. He's not happy with that. He's much better player than that. He knows that. And all you can do at that point is move on. Every tournament point counts. And the way this tournament works is the first group is random selection. Based on how well you do on each game, you're assigned
Yeah, but
7,
boy,
5, 3, or 1 points, depending on your finishing
yeah,
position.
you know that's
And then
so far
after that,
so far average is
the people with the highest point totals throughout the day are grouped with each other.
less than
First,
second
third,
place.
third.
So if you're playing better, you're going to be playing with players who are playing better, and if you're playing worse, you'll be playing with people who are not necessarily bad players, but who have less point totals for the day. So Ellis seems a little bit uncomfortable here. He's just trying to take a breath, get a breather in. You can see having a little difficulty finding the shots. And it can be difficult stepping up, knowing that you've got a lot of work to do. And he's already locked in 3 points because he's going to at least come in third place. So he picks up 4 million there for the Sandman completion. Looks like he's going for Doc Ock shots. But again, it's a lot of shots to get there. Yeah, see, there was a reject. That shot didn't count, unfortunately, for him. Tends to do that less when you have a backhand shot, but if he's not comfortable doing a post pass or anything, that was still the correct shot for him to take. Sometimes transferring the ball can be difficult to get it on the flipper that you want. So if you have an open shot, sometimes it's best just to take it. Another kind of reject shot there. I think he hit off the blue rubber just there. Not sure why he didn't backhand it though. If that's his strategy there, I don't know if he is aware that he can do that. I don't think they have this game at home, so he may just not have been aware of that. So he's got 5 million available for an extra ball in the left orbit. Let's see what he does here. There you go. So he did his post pass there. Nice job with that. A little early on that upper shot. It's an opportunity to make an adjustment on that next opportunity. And there's a little gate there that will stop the ball right before it gets to that upper flipper. You see it kind of, well, it didn't do it right there. But I think it has been taken out. That gate normally is flipped. That's going to be the end of the ball. Wow. Oh, it was really close. And he's going to at least take Chris, and he's going to win the game, I think.
What is it? What is it? 69.
He's got it. Ellis Mount with 69. How about that? What a great ball. Wow, he got just enough. How about that? So great ball from Ellis. He's going to take the win. And sometimes that's all you need, just to be a little bit better. Wow. Nice showcase of skill from all those guys. You can see Scott Mount on the screen there. That's Ellis' father. We'll see him play later, I'm sure. And we're going to move on to the next group. We're going to move on to the next group. I'm not entirely sure who this gentleman is. This tournament was the largest tournament we've ever had in Alabama State history with 56 players. So there were a few players that I did not get an opportunity to really talk to, get to know them really well. But we'll see how it goes. And if you are watching this and this is you, let me know in the comments below and I can put your name on the screen on YouTube. Or if you know who that is, either way, let me know. So he's obviously played this game before. He seems to know what he's doing. So he's got his Doc Ock multi-ball going. Let's see if he takes the opportunity to pick off a few shots with the ball save. Yeah, so that upper gate on the upper flipper has been disabled. It's all right, he'll get that back. Ball save still flashing, so it is still available to him. So there goes his lock target, light lock target for the black suit. You can tell his style is more on the fly, which means that he's not taking the time to really trap up anything. He's going with the flow of the game. That works for some people. I have not ever been able to play that way. I like to be a little bit more calculated. I like to stop the ball as much as possible, which on a game like this, that's a nice save. On a game like this can be a good strategy, but if you start to try to over control the ball on an old electromechanical game or a solid state, oh, was a bit of a bummer there. He had opportunity to save that ball off the center post and flipped, which sort of closes the gap a little bit for the ball to pop back up. If you're used to doing that after the ball goes down the drain, you kind of have to decide whether you're going to use the post or not. So if you see the ball coming towards the middle, you either have to make a decision to make a slap save or a slide save or let the ball go down. So either flip there or don't. So either try to make an opportunity to get that ball or just leave it. Leave it to hit the post and hope for the best. So this is Scott Mount. Scott Mount is another one of our Auburn players. He's a real good player. He finished second. No, let's see. He finished second in the state tournament last week to his son Addison, who won the Alabama State Championship at only 14 years old. So they had a great weekend for those guys. And Braden Gentry finished fourth from Auburn. And Chris Warren, who we saw in the last game, finished third. I finished fifth. Can't remember who finished sixth. But not a very good ball from Scott. He knows that. He can rally on the second ball though. So up next is Sunshine Bond. Sunshine comes to us from Atlanta, and I have never seen really her play, but I know that she is a good player. She's one of the top ranked women players, if I'm not mistaken, in the IFBA. She goes to a lot of tournaments. Um, we saw her last year at the Flippin' and Fultondale tournament, which she qualified in the top 12. Not really sure what her finishing position was, but we'll see what her style is like. It'll be interesting to see how she plays. So right now, it seems to me like she's pretty calculated. Kind of slowing the game down as much as you can. Yeah. I would have liked to see a little bit more movement from both of the people who went down the middle drain there, both Sunshine and the first gentleman who played, just to test the tilt. I mean, if you're talking about missing out on maybe 300,000 or 400,000 points in bonus when you're trying to get a score, I would say 100 million maybe would be a pretty solid first place score, 70 or 80. You know, in the grand scheme of things, you're gonna quick ball from David Taylor there. He's not going to be happy with that. But you know what? There's two more balls. It's not a huge deal. Again, that would have been an opportunity to test the tilt in the game. Because if you tilt that, you're talking about tilting maybe 80,000 points in bonus, which is pennies. So we'll see if he's able to come back on the second ball. And wow, nice save there. It was kind of a strange bounce. But you have to think on ball one, you have to be really aggressive, and then on ball three, depending on your position, you have to be equally as aggressive. But a lot of people think that you don't. Wow, it was kind of an interesting flip there, right off the tip of the right flipper and down the left out lane. Didn't even have an opportunity to save it. So Scott will be up here, and he's chasing down 16 million, which is pretty reasonable for a single ball on this game. Let's see what he's got for us. He was able to get that target off of the stand-up target for the locks off of the upper flipper, which is a good idea to do on the game if you have a ball save. I wouldn't recommend trying that strategy on purpose, which I don't think he did it on purpose, but unless you have a ball save running. Let's see what he's going to do here. So he is looking to take Doc Ock, I think. I'm not really sure, or he's trying to start his modes. One of the two. Because he has his locks lit on the left and right orbit. So it looks like he's trying to start his Doc Ock mode and maybe work towards Black Suit. And it's going to be the end of the ball. Had some spin on it, and once it gets that spin towards the out lane, it's going to be difficult to save, especially when there's basically no rubber over there to help you save the ball. So he's going to end with just over 6 million, and we're going to move on to Sunshine for her second ball.
I don't think I've ever seen a score
She's
over
also doing the short plunge here.
116,000.
I don't know what that super
That's
skill
a
shot is
fun.
worth. I don't think anybody's made it yet. So the regular skill shot's 250 points, 250,000, which isn't huge points in this game. Nice in lane there. See what she's trying to go for here. So she's sticking with orbits. I think she probably could have stopped that ball, but that's all right. So she's got the ball stopped here. So she's continuing to shoot orbits. And she lit her locks, but there's a really good example of how dangerous that target can be. One bounce and then into the out lane off the top of the slingshot. So you have to just be aware of that, and you have to be ready when you fling the ball towards that target. There's really no telling where it's going to go, but it's usually going to be in trouble. That's why it's safer to take your Doc Ock shots and start that multi-ball to work towards your black suit. Just like David did right there, he's got one more shot after that. See if he's able to transfer the ball over to the left flipper, shoot it on the fly. David's a good player. He can be a bit streaky though, not even necessarily day to day, but from game to game. He's sort of an all or nothing type player, and you'll know if he's playing well because he'll either rip off a huge ball or he will usually tilt. He doesn't like to lose a ball without tilting. But he's an A division player with us in the Magic City Pinball League, and let's see what he's got for us here on multi-ball. People tend to get hung up about what division they're in, and I used to do that a lot when I was in B division. So I spent probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 seasons in B division, and I finally just decided to sort of take away that label because I almost became comfortable with being an B division player because it sounds pretty good. I played well there. I could usually be successful there, and I was thought one day, you know, hey, why not say just be the best that you can be the best player that you can. And as soon as I did that, I made it to A division that next season and really never looked back. And I like to, you want to be able to play with the best of the best. You want to be able to, if you're going to win, you want to say you did it the right way. And that's not to knock anybody that's in B division. It's just saying that if you have the willpower and the opportunities, you have to take advantage of them and you know, study the rules in your spare time, or watch the pros play on YouTube, or do all the things that you can do. Go practice. If you don't have a game at home, just go pick one game, read the rule sheet, and then go see if you can do some of the things that you were reading about earlier that day. Or you can practice specific skills. That's always a good thing to do. If you know that you're not very good with bounce passes or post passes, go put some money in the machine and post pass back and forth until you have it down. And it may take a little while, but those are the kinds of skills when you have the ball on the left flipper and you need it on the right flipper, you can do a post pass, and that'll be it. So nice ball from David. But those are the kinds of skills that really separate the A division players from the B division players. And I would say the second most important thing behind that would be rules knowledge, which is one thing that I'm still really working on a consistent basis, is learning the rules to these games. So David is in the lead after the third ball with 23 million. So he's feeling good, feeling loose. That's good to see. And this is our third ball here, so there you go. So I believe that is the second lock. He started a hero mode, which is good, so looks like he's going to start his multi-ball with a hero mode. So your jackpots are going to be worth a little bit more, nothing too extreme.
That's perfect for that.
But this is an opportunity to sort of peck away at David's lead. Shouldn't take too long. He's already up to 20 million. So if he can use this opportunity to put some separation between him and David and the other players, he could very well come away with a win here based on the first two balls from everyone else. So jackpots are only worth about 312,000, looks like, which isn't huge, but they're going to be like that for just about everybody. You know, there's no playfield doubler, at least not that I'm aware of. There's a 5 million collect for the extra ball. So he's up to 35 million, and David has already spent his multi-ball or his Doc Ock multi-ball, so he's going to have those dangerous targets towards Black Suit. So I may just pick off some mode shots here. It looks like the left ramp is lit for a mode shot, and I think that will complete the mode.
I missed that upper ramp shot every single time. You did? Yeah, I don't think I did one time.
So he's trying to complete the Sandman, which he did for a couple million points there. So that was a good strategy. It's not as bad for a same type of mechanism as, say, Attack from Mars, where it can be really brutal if you miss. This one you can actually get away with generally feeding it up there with relative security. So he's got 750,000 and a reject out of the Doc Ock. But he's got 750,000 points apiece on the right side. And another black suit lock. So really putting together a solid ball here. And that's going to be an out almost every time on this game. If you get side-to-side motion from the slingshots, you're in big trouble. So Scott's up for his third ball, and he's got quite a big hill to climb if he's going to be looking at even second place. As difficult as this game's playing. He can do it. He's really skilled. He's going to go ahead and start. Second lock on black suit. So he has his Doc Ock shot lit. So the idea would be to start that right there, perfect shot. Now use that to work towards your other multi-ball while pecking away at jackpots for this multi-ball. So his other multi-ball is lit. He's going to start. He's going to stack them. So if he's going to do it, he's basically going to have to do it all in this one multi-ball, or else he's in trouble. So he'll get 4 balls in play here. Nice upper shot there. Go ahead and get those out of the way. I know that he's going to be pretty decent with that shot because he has a Star Trek The Next Generation at home that he's had for a few weeks now. So that's a game with a really difficult upper playfield shot, similar to this one here. It's a great game. I've got one at home. One of my absolute favorites, just not only because of the theme, because I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but because of the game is like the perfect amalgamation of theme integration and shot layout, call-outs, custom call-outs from the actors. Just a wonderful package that Williams put together in the 90s from Steve Ritchie. And that's going to be the end of Scott's ball. And he did come back and catch David, so he's currently sitting in second place, and this game doesn't necessarily automatically give you 10 million points, so we'll see if David is able to get those points back in good position, and we'll see how Sunshine's able to do on her third ball. So she has her locks lit on the orbits. That was a good decision not to flip there. A lot of people would have taken the opportunity to use that upper flipper, but often it can send the ball into chaos. So good decision from Sunshine there. Let's see if she, hey, that's a great thing. If she's able to recognize that and use those opportunities to slow the ball down so she can think about how she's going to get to 34 million points. And then, unfortunately, a little bit of flipper fumble there. So Sunshine's going to come in last, but it's just a testament to how difficult this is set up because she's one of the best players in Georgia, and wasn't able to put it together on this particular game, but she did well in the tournament overall. And I'll be sure to post a link to the tournament standings and results in the comments in the description below. So here comes Dave for his third ball, and that's going to be the end of it. Yep, got a bad bounce off of the Doc Hawk in between the orbit and the Doc Hawk there, and just wasn't able to corral it. And he's going to come in third place, but still a solid game. Every point counts. You just have to keep going on a tournament like this.
Let's
So
stop the recording on it.
nice job. Nice job for everybody there. And the first gentleman who played takes the win here with a solid 48 million. In our third group, our state champion, Addison Mount, is going to lead us off. Addison took down his father, Scott, in the state championship finals a week before we recorded this and really played well all day. You're talking about beating out the top 16 players in the state, and the level of competition now compared to when I got started a few years ago is just exponentially more difficult than it was back then. So for him to be able to come in from Auburn and pull off the win for the state championship is really impressive, and there's something to be said for that, especially as young as he is. He's a really good talent, likes to play on the fly, but it works for him. His style reminds me a lot of Timothy Street. For those of you who watch the channel, we get to see Tim play quite a bit. So they have a similar style, and Addison has a good strategy and rules knowledge on this game. So we'll see how he's able to do here on the first ball. Nice save, nice slap save. You'll see a lot of good flipper skills from Addison, but he does them really quickly, which may be. I can't really criticize his game, and that was just kind of unfortunate. There's nothing you can do about that, but maybe taking time to slow things down occasionally would be something that I'll say something that I had to learn because I used to do that as well. But if you go back and you watch the pros like Bo and Cairns, or you go back and watch guys like Carl D'Angelo play online, you'll see that they often take a time to take a breath and relax for a minute and get their plan together, take a breath. Because if you're trying to concentrate on a ball that's continuously moving for 10 to 12 minutes even, I mean, which would be a huge ball, don't get me wrong, but it begins to fatigue you. It begins to fatigue your eyes and your brain. So sometimes it's okay to take just a step back. And I'm not sure who this gentleman is, but kind of an unfortunate drain there down the center. I think he was um, kind of hoping it would come off the post there, but that's okay. He's still in the running after the first ball. 7.6 million. It's better than nothing. That's for sure. It wasn't terrible. And this is one of our friends from Millington or um, Memphis, Tennessee area. And I'm sorry I can't remember your name. I know we met briefly, but there were some really good players that came from Tennessee that joined us on this tournament, and they were all really great folks. I want to give a shout out to David Yop. He's got his own channel. You guys check him out on YouTube. But they're doing really great things up there. He's got his own arcade in Memphis area or in Millington called the Retro. So if you're ever in Memphis and you need to get your fix, go to the Retro. He restores all of his own games, and they're all well maintained. They do Friday night tournaments, IFBA points, if you guys are ever in the area on the weekend. So he's picked off his target for his locks, and he's also got Doc Hawk, so he's got some good things working for him on the first ball. seems to be exhibiting some pretty decent control. And that's trouble. Yeah. Yep. Once you get in those slingshots on this game, the posts are really difficult to overcome on the outlanes there because there's just no rubber to bounce the ball off of. And let's see. And fourth player is Mike Gray. This is Mike's Spider-Man. All the games except for about 8 or 9 out of the 45 were Mike's. This is his shop, Southern Coin Op and Amusement. He does a fantastic job of getting these tournament games ready for us. I know him and Chris worked tirelessly to make sure everything was perfect for the state championships and for the Pinball and Pelham tournament. And we couldn't do it without you, Mike, so we appreciate everything you do. So let's see what he's able to put up today. Today is actually Mike's birthday as we're recording, so happy birthday, Mike. Hopefully you do well. And he was just saying there's no rubbers on that side to shake him out, to shake the ball out. So hate to tell you, Mike, but you did that one to yourself. So not great from Mike on his first ball, but that's okay. Still 2 more balls to go. As Addison steps up for his second ball, he's got really not a whole lot of progress. I think he has 1 lock already for Black Suit Multi-Ball. But he was able to get about 8 million points on the first ball, so. Okay, so he just, nice outlaid save there. That was really great awareness from Addison. Especially considering there's not much over there to help with that save. That was all him. And he's going to get a nice little bounce into Doc Ock. So he has that ready. He also has at least 1 Black Suit lock. So a lot of good things happening for Addison right now on this ball. And he's going to go right into Doc Ock. We'll see. He started multi-ball with about 12 million. Let's see how much he can pick up here. That ball's going to go out the outlane, but that's fine. So he'll get it back with his ball safe. Locks are also lit now for Black Suit. This is a 2-ball multi-ball, but there is an add-a-ball available. If you see the upper right flipper, there's a flashing red arrow pointing downward. If you hit the ball behind the flipper right there and into that little lane, it'll give you an add-a-ball. It's a difficult shot, but could be worth, going for if you have a ball trapped on the left flipper. He just stacked in his Black Suit multi-ball, so he's going to get 4-ball multi-ball here with the opportunity to score jackpots that are a little bit more. So the jackpots he's hitting now are about 326,000, but before that they were maybe 250. So he just hit his super jackpot for the Doc Ock mode for 1.25 million. And he's continuing to pick up 750,000 point targets on the left side with the green goblin mode running. And he's got to collect on 5 million for the extra ball. Let's see if he's able to collect that. You can see the red arrow flashing just above the green dots on the left orbit. That's indicator for your extra ball. And on this game with extra balls turned off, it's worth 5 million points, which that adds up. That's not insignificant. I think he's just trying to decide what he wants to do here. Looked like he went for the extra ball shot there. That would have been a good opportunity to let that ball carry over from the left flipper to the right instead of flipping that away. Kind of, I won't say carelessly, but without direction. There you go. Nice bit of control. He's got his lock slit. He's going to take a shot at Doc Ock. So it says 3 shots more for the next Doc Ock multi-ball mode. He'll get a lock here with an extra ball. So he's just sort of chipping away. He's putting together a really solid second ball, 53 million at the moment. He hit his target for his lock, so he'll be able to take a shot to orbit here. A little bit late. It's all right. Just corral it, and that's going to be gone. But excellent ball from Addison there. Nicely done. Really did a good job of overtaking the competition and then continuing to put pressure on everybody else, because that could potentially be a winning score. Now he's going to have an opportunity to have another ball and extend that lead. But you know, that's why I like to play first, is because you have an opportunity to put as much score on your opponents as you can. I'd rather be sitting, you know, 40, 50 million points ahead of everybody else, knowing that I'm already in the clubhouse and not having to be the guy having to chase down that 40 or 50 million. So, that's trouble. Nice save. Nice save there. That was a really good drop catch there. He obviously knows the rules because he's going for his Doc Hawk modes. So let's see what he's able to get back against Addison's 59 million here. Nice upper flipper shot. And you can let those balls drain purposely to get a feed for the... I'm sorry, he's not in multi-ball. I thought he was going to be in multi-ball. But if you start a multi-ball, you know, sometimes it's a good strategy. If you know you're bad at that upper flipper shot, but you've got to have it to finish the mode or get a super jackpot or whatever the case may be on a particular game, you can purposely let the balls drain. Oh, so he was a multi-ball. You could purposely let the balls drain to feed that upper flipper shot from the pop bumpers. It's all about knowing your game. And if you drain, just not necessarily letting it go, but thinking about, okay, well, what did I do wrong and how can I do better on the next ball? Not getting upset about it, because there is no such thing as a perfect game of pinball. Everybody drains, everybody has lost, essentially. It's just an opportunity for you to think about how to be better on the next opportunity you get. Whoa! That was a kind of an interesting deal there. It banked off of the apron, and then off of the post, and then back into play. So that was some strange, so it's almost like the spin from the ball kind of ramped it back up onto the flipper. And that is legal if you do it in that way, but you're not allowed to purposely do a bang back, which is where you bang the ball off the apron coming from the out lane, and you're not allowed to do death saves in any IFPA sanctioned event, which is where you essentially do the same thing, but you move the ball, you move the game back into the left and then upwards really quickly to take advantage of the geometry of the game to knock the ball back into play. It's a really difficult move, and oftentimes it'll result in a tilt. But if you're in an arcade, it can be something that can be fun to practice, but you don't want to get in the habit of it, because if you accidentally aren't thinking about where you're at and where you're playing and you do a death save, it's an automatic disqualification for the game, and you will end up with a 0 on it. 0 points. You'll be in automatic last place. So it looks like he's got a hero mode running. Nice save there. It's just kind of not really feeling the flow of the game. You can tell that he just was never comfortable with that ball. And sometimes that happens. If I ever get in a situation where I'm like that, I like to take a half a step or a quarter step closer to the game, kind of hone in and change the angle of my viewing, because oftentimes that will result in you making your shots a little bit better if you can see the ball a little bit clearer, just get a different angle, a different view on the game. So let's see what Mike's able to do here on his second ball. That was a nice attempt at a drop catch or a live catch there. And he's able to stop the ball, kind of take a breather. So he went for his lock target with his knees. I would have probably gone for the Doc Hawk. It's just easier to start, and you can use your opportunity when you have your insurance policy, your second ball, to go for that target that's oftentimes pretty dangerous. So he seems to be having a little bit of difficulty making his shots. He should probably go for Doc Ock shot here. He went again for the target, the lock target for his black suit. Picked up 750 points off that bounce onto the green goblin, and that's going to be the end of the ball.
I cannot hit that freaking little green flag.
Slim, sling, slang, slingshot, drain right there. Just wham, wham, and then drain. You find that a lot on this game, or any game where the outposts are up as high as they are, because when you don't have any rubbers there, the ball doesn't have an opportunity to bounce back into play.
When you see I hit my dog out toe, it comes back.
So Addison has an opportunity to extend his lead,
That's the ball edition, right?
and he's not going to be able to really do that. Yeah, you can tell he's pretty upset about that. He knows that that was a fumble and that was anytime you get a ball in the flipper like that and you're not able to control it and stop the momentum of the ball, that's to a player as good as Addison. It's a little disappointing, but he's still up. That's why you want to get out as early as you can, so you can have that comfort in knowing that even if you have a situation like that, at least you're not in last place when that happens. You know, he's still out pretty far ahead of everybody else, as difficult as this is set up. So he's got his 5 million extra ball lit on the left side, which he collected right there with his lock. Nicely done. It's going to give him the lock anyway, even though it rejected. As long as you hit that switch up there, it'll allow you to. Oh, it didn't give him his lock. That's surprising, but normally it would. Perhaps that's because of competition mode. But he got the 5 million for his extra ball, so he's solid second place right now. And there he goes. That's going to get his lock, and it's going to start his multi-ball. So he's got an opportunity to chase down Addison here. We'll see if he's able to pick up enough jackpots to do so. I believe Addison was just at 60 million, which is still a pretty comfortable lead. But if he is able to get towards his Doc Ock multi-ball here and have that ready to go as soon as he drains out of this, then he could really be able to put up some points with these two multi-balls here. He's picking up a few jackpots here, which is good. So a lot of people tend to panic when they save there, tend to panic when they start multi-ball. He seems to be doing a pretty good job of aiming his shots. Because it's so chaotic when you start multi-ball. Nice cradle separation there. Now he has a decision he can take. It looks like he was going for Doc Ock. That was the correct shot there. So nice strategy. And he's going to drain out there. But overall, nice multi-ball there. He was able to make some progress towards his Doc Ock. I think he needs maybe 2 more shots to start it. So 2 more shots. It is backhandable. So if you're able to stop the momentum, we'll see if he can put one in there. Another nice one right there. So he's got 1 more to go. And he only needs about 12 million, 14 million to catch Addison for first place. It was a nice drop catch, but unfortunately, he got in that outlane area, and as we've seen all night, that it could pretty much spell the end of the ball for you. So he wasn't able to chase down Addison, but he was able to put himself solidly in the second place. All right, no ball safe, so you have to keep in mind that if you are taking wild shots like that, you're not going to get the ball back. But he's able to finish off his Sandman, so that's good for 2 to 4 million. And he needs to play well here too, because he is still in front of Mike, who's in 4th place. So every point matters. He's still in position for 3 points, and I'm sure he's good enough to catch, based on what I've seen from the first 2 balls. He's good enough to catch Addison and the other gentleman. Problem is, you don't, even though a player may be good enough to do that, even the best players in the world have a bad ball every now and again. But he seems to be doing really well here. He's got his black suit started, picking up some jackpots here. I would be focusing on those targets on the left side for 200 or 750 apiece. And it's going to be the end of the multi-ball, but let's see. He goes right into his Doc Ock multi-ball. So that is the correct way to play the game right there. Exactly what he did. As soon as he drained out of that multi-ball, he just went right into the next one. In fact, it may have been... Nope, I was going to say he may have stacked them together, because sometimes if you time that drain right and you're able to collect and start your Doc Ock before you drain the other ball, it'll stack them together. So, wow. He was really unfortunate there, just right off of the magnet and down the drain. There's absolutely nothing he could have done about that, but solid multi-ball. Picks up 3.6 million to help extend his lead over Mike, who has a huge hill to climb to get basically any points other than last place. So Mike needs about 36 million on this ball just for third place, which he can do. But again, he hasn't really looked all that comfortable on the first two balls, and that's going to be it. Wow. It's just really unfortunate for Mike, and you can tell he's pretty dejected with that, but he should be. I mean, that's just really unfortunate. So, nice job, Addison, for taking the win there, and he's going to get 7 points for that game. And we're going to move ahead to our coverage to the final 3 games of the tournament. So the players that are coming up now, after 7 rounds, have the most points out of all the other players in the 56-person field. And the players are Chris Compton, Chris Warren, Timothy Street, and myself. And we're going to start off here with a game called Wizard. This is an electromechanical game from Bally, sometime during the 70s, and that's going to be the end of Chris's first ball. Chris Warren's first ball. And stepping up for the second ball, or for his first ball, is Timothy Street. Timothy is another one of those guys who's one of the best players in Alabama, week in and week out. Him and Chris Warren are the guys who are chasing down during league and any tournament, basically. And he's also going to have a really short first ball. And I know the scores are difficult to see, but unfortunately we weren't really able to get everything on camera. We're going to have to work on that for next. We're going to have to work on that for the next tournament. And the interesting thing about this game is that it's based off of the movie, The Who's what is that? Tommy, who you can see on the back glass. And I'm going to be player 3 here. You really want to hit your skill sheet. The purpose for this game is to collect the flags, and you collect the flags by the 3 stand-up targets on the left side of the playfield. And then there is also one right above the shot that I just hit. That's really dangerous to go for, like I did right there, and that's why that ball was so short. So once you hit one of those stand-up targets, you have to hit the hole up top, the saucer, which will kick it down the right side, I guess, waterfall, where the star rollover targets are next to the flags that flip over, and that will actually collect your flag for you. And the biggest ones you want to collect are the light spinner, and then if you collect all 4 of them, you get double bonus, I believe. So short ball from the first 3 players. This is a 5-ball game, so you're able to have more opportunities. Most often, if it's an electromechanical game in a tournament like this, it will be set to 5 balls. Because if you only set it to 3 balls, it's not very fun. Most people will have short ball times on these anyways. So the fourth player is going to be Chris Compton. Chris is another one of those guys who comes from Georgia. I believe he placed second place in the Georgia State Championship just a week prior to filming the tournament, so he's a really good player. And in fact, he's having a tournament, I think it was yesterday, at his home. So he has several games at his house, and he ran 2 tournaments in the same day. So you have 2 individual winners, and you have an overall tournament winner based on your combined performance. So really interesting style tournament there. Nice attempt at a tap pass there, which is definitely pass doable in this game, which is where you barely tap the ball, the flipper, and it will barely carry the ball from one flipper to the other. You can usually get away with this on 70s and 80s valleys in particular. And sort of a real quick slingshot drain there for Chris. So nothing really going for any of the players on the first ball.
Must be a little piece of dirt on the playfield or something. That's unusual.
See what Chris can do for us on second ball here. Yeah, it's difficult to find a good solution to the ball coming down off of that right side there because it's a one-way gate. Nice slap save there from Chris. He's able to control these games really well, which is often a difficult thing to do. Another excellent save. See him leaving the flipper up there on the right side to gauge where he is in terms of where if he needs to do a slap save or another type of maneuver to keep the ball in play. And that's gonna be gone. You could tell he's pretty upset with that one, and that's only because on a newer game the flipper would have stayed still, but because the game is so old, the magnets tend to be a little bit weaker underneath from the parts being worn out over time. And what happened was the ball's weight caused the flipper to depress a little bit and then flick the ball back up, which wouldn't have happened on a normal game, but it flipped it right into the drain, unfortunately for him. Still a pretty decent ball, though. And Tim knows better than that. He's not going to be real pleased with himself on that one. But, you know, you like to say that anytime you can get a ball in a flipper, it should have been saved. And you're not going to be able to be 100% accurate with that. Nobody is, but it's just a little bit disappointing when you let one get away like that. And bad shot caused that to go out the left out link for me. There's really not anything to shoot at over there. That 5,000 point target that I was going for is a really dangerous shot. That's a perfect example of why you shouldn't do that. But I had to do something with the ball because it was coming down from the in lane there. It's a failed attempt at a tap pass there from Chris Compton, and it cost him the ball, unfortunately for him. So he's sitting at around 14,000. Looks like Tim is up there in second place with 23,000, if I'm reading that correctly. And I think currently Chris is in first place with somewhere around 25,000, if I remember correctly. Let's see if he attempts a tap pass here. Let the ball roll down to the end of the flipper, and then so he actually went with a post pass. He did more traditional move of hitting it off of the bottom of the slingshot and then over to the right flipper. And the reason you want to do that on this game is because the majority of the shots you want to make are those stand-up targets that he just got on the left side. See the flag up there on the upper right went from white to red. There's another example of that right there. And the idea is to collect all the flags, which will let your double bonus and your spinner for 1,000 points apiece. Just trying to get that ball out of the outlane area. So good nudge in there from Chris. Perfect example of a tap pass right there. Hit it just enough. See if he's able to go up to the upper part of the playfield and collect his flags. So he wants to hit the saucer up here or just collect them like that on the right side. So he has his spinner lit for 1,000 points apiece. He's got this tap pass dialed in, and he rips it. So Chris is putting together a really good ball here on his third ball. You can see when Chris plays older games like this especially, he likes to tap the side of the cabinet and also the lockdown bar at times, and I think that's more for him to get into the rhythm of the game than it is for anything else. Another spinner rip here. He's really adding up to the points here. Another tap pass. Really nice job here from Chris putting together a great ball. Didn't quite make the adjustment that he needed to make to be able to get the spinner. See, he's starting to get a little flaily, and it's going to cost him. Nice ball, though. Hard to see what his score is, but if I had to guess, I would imagine he's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 60,000 right now. Possibly even 65, 70. Tim's going to come up for his third ball, sitting around right at 24,000.
Basically the same mechanism. It's really
And he's
just
going to hit the saucer, which will give you a... So he actually went for
top well.
an alley pass, which is where you let the ball travel all the way to the end of the flipper and then up the in lane of the other side. It's also known as a Schatz pass, named after Neil Schatz, who was a competitive player and invented the move. So you can see how they have wildly different strategies to get to the same conclusion. Which one is safer? I don't know. Probably, well, based on what I'm seeing right now, it'd be the tap pass, because you're seeing Chris was able to control the ball a little bit better than Timmy, who's either a little bit early or a little bit late. So now he's sort of going to the tap pass, it looks like, because he just couldn't get comfortable with the Schatz. Some games are better for each strategy. It looks like this game's going to be better for the tap pass. Another fumble from Tim there. But still a decent ball. Looks like he's at 77,600 points. So really good ball. That means Chris is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 90, probably closer to 90. So here's me. See if I'm able to come back here. I'm probably in the neighborhood right around where Chris Compton is, sitting around probably 15 million at the moment. Was able to actually get the ball to control that time, which was nice. So I'm taking really not very smart shots, and I'm going to pay for it. So that's the end of my ball. And it wasn't a good one. That's the second or third time I've attempted to take that same shot. I'm not making that adjustment. I'm not trying to flip over to the right side of the right flipper to take shots at the flags. I'm just constantly going for that 5,000 points, which is not very smart in the long run. Excellent tap pass from Chris Compton. So he has his spinner lit for 1,000 points apiece. And that's a disappointing ball. When you like the spinner, you really want to be able to capitalize on that. So he's going to end the ball with right around 28,000. I believe this is the fourth ball for Chris Warren. Chris Warren. So he's already got his spinner lit, so really he's just focusing on putting the ball up to the upper part of the play field, trying to get as many spinner hits as he can. Looks like he's also trying to go for double bonus. I think if I'm that far ahead, I'm going to rip the spinner while I have the opportunity to do so. Because only one of those flags will light the spinner. And it's sort of a difficult one to collect, so when you have it lit, you have to take advantage of it.
Bad shot.
And Tim says that's out. And it is. You don't get a ball save on these old games, unfortunately. But that's what kind of makes it more challenging, kind of makes it more fun. That's why
Sorry, I was thinking
even with
sick.
all the advances in modern technology, you still have those guys out there who are obsessed with these electromechanical games, is because they offer a totally different experience than what you would get if you were um, playing a modern game. So let's see, I've got to come up with something here. Still not making that adjustment, but I was able to actually hit the flag target that time, which is what I was trying to do for the first through 3 balls. So got a lucky with an in lane there. Got 5,000 points off of that nice little bounce there, but I need to make the opportunity to right there, do the tap pass, see about collecting a flag. Nice tap pass on the fly. That's a pretty cool move. So I'm complaining. Another nice tap pass on the fly. See if you could have that going with the spinner lit, you'd be in business. So I got my double bonus collect. Now I have to focus on not tilting and on ripping the spinner. Got another bounce for the 5,000 points. That was nice. So I drained out there, but that was actually a pretty decent ball. That probably brought me up to around 90, 95.
Really, the spinner doesn't matter. It's a couple times.
Hey, right up in the mix.
You can drain the spinner. Like, you don't want to
So
drain that couple bonus.
that
That's the
puts me
big
right
thing.
around the same score as Chris Warren and Tim. And we have Chris Compton up here for his 4th ball. Yeah, so you can tell Chris Compton wasn't very happy with that. Just a little bit of a fumble there and sort of a missed opportunity. But that's okay because he still has another ball. And this could be a 1-ball game. You know, if you really rip off a one good ball, you can come back and you can win, especially if you get your double bonus rolling and you're able to capitalize on the spinners at 1,000 points. And it's in trouble there. Nice save by Chris Warren. And there's a general strategy with these electromechanical games just to say, throw the ball to the top of the playfield. Just get it away from the drain.
Okay.
And so Chris is actually going to roll the game. He got over 100,000 points. I know you can't see it on the screen here, but he's sitting in pretty darn good shape with, I wanted to say it was around 112,000. And Chris has an Tim has an opportunity to catch him here.
Oh no, I didn't lose the scoop. It's terrible.
Because he's not too terribly far behind. He's sitting around 90. Just can't quite dial in that shot. It's just going to take a second to rest. There it goes. What he's really trying to do is collect those flags so he can light his spinner and get his double bonus. Because you can see up in the right top of the playfield, they're all red right now. So he just barely missed the scoop. He really needs the ball to get over to that right area of the playfield where the flags are. And he's going to get it. I don't think he was quite as far ahead as he tilted. He tilted out at like 90. He tilted out double bonus at like 96,000. That was a huge mistake from Tim because that cost him probably first place. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely not something you want to do. Yeah, see how you can hear me saying wow already. So I've got an opportunity to come back here because I'm right there sort of in the mix and currently in 3rd place. So I was able to get that one flag. See if I can collect it. Got a sort of a lucky in lane there. 3 out of the 4 flags are ready to go. Just couldn't quite, a little bit early on the spinner shot. Probably do a tap pass here. Not sure what that was all about. Should have just let it go early again. I'm going to catch an out lane, but I'm also going to roll a game. So with the bonus doubled up there, I'm going to get 106,000. So currently it is Chris Warren in first place with about 112,000. Me in second place with 106. Timmy in third place with 96,000. Chris Compton here trying to chase all of that down at 36,000. So he's really got to get working on his flags. And bad geometry on his part on the game. Caught right off that post there, and unfortunately for him, it's going to be right down the drain.
Timmy had enough to win the
But
game.
Chris Warren's going to take the win here, and we're going to move into Spider-Man for the second. So the second game of the final round. And keep in mind that the ball save on this game is off. So as soon as you lose the ball, that is the end of the ball. And something that I'm sure Chris will be keeping in mind as he steps up to the plate. It's more of a mental thing, really, than anything else. I think anybody who has played competitive pinball at any point in time has stepped up to the game, plunged, and then immediately drained. So it's nice to have the comfort of knowing that you do at least have the opportunity to get as a ball save. But it just changes your strategy up a bit. But more than anything, it'll change your mental game. So nice on-the-fly backhand shot for Chris to the Doc Ock lock. And one more shot will start his lend me a hand multi-ball. Just a little bit early there. Got to make the adjustment. And that was just sort of a bad reject out of the shot that time. Probably would have taken a forehand shot right there at the Doc Ock. I'm not really sure why he chose to
I didn't shoot it.
not take that shot.
You just reflexed it in there.
I
You
tried
switched.
to. It was coming down in lane fast.
He was
So
saying
I
it was
didn't
coming
want to
down
shoot
the in
it out
lane
right
real
off the
fast, and he
block.
didn't want to take it
So
on
I
the
tried to
fly.
thing where you kind of
I don't know. I
slow
think he
down
could have made that
and
adjustment here.
shoot.
He's a really good on the fly shooter. It's one of the best parts about his game. I remember very vividly being ahead on Iron Man one time, where he came back and just on the fly made about 6 or 8 ramps in a row without missing, and was able to overtake me with the bogey mode. So I know that he's able to do that, but it's all right. He's still in first
No,
place in
I
the point
know,
standings, and he'll
Spider.
still have an opportunity with 2 more balls coming up. And Timothy Street is going to step up for his second ball. He finished third in the previous game, so he really needs to make a run if he's going to take the title here. Nice in-lane nudge from Tim. That's one of the things that he is strongest in his game, is his nudging. Likes to play on the 5, but he can get away with it because he is able to make the saves like that on a regular basis. He's very consistent with his saves. Excellent backhand flick there into Doc Ock. One more shot will start his lend-a-hand multi-ball. A little bit out of control there. There you go. Nice job settling down there. He'll take a shot in a Doc Ock. A little bit late, but he'll have a chance at the backhand here. Another sort of reject, the same kind of thing that happened to Chris earlier, and he's able to start it. So let's see what he's going to be able to pick up here on his first Doc Ock multi-ball. So he's purposely letting that ball drain, presumably so he can have a shot at the upper left ramp to go ahead and get that jackpot out of the way. Oh, yeah, that was pretty gnarly right there. Just right off the Sandman or right down the drain. So he's going to hit his multi-ball, but he's going to get a lock for his black suit. Seems to be having a little bit of difficulty finding the shots. It's a good time to take a breath and think about what you're going to be doing next. Another perfect example about how difficult that lock shot can be, that light lock drop stand-up target, because it seems to be doing that to a lot of people where if you backhand, it'll go off the slingshot right into the out lane. It's just the geometry, the way the game is designed to make that shot difficult. So we'll see what I'm able to do here on ball one. Nothing really going from the first two players, so this is a good spot for me to be in to see if I can put up a good score on ball one, kind of put the heat on the other players. This is a position that I like to be in when I have the chance to get out ahead and get out ahead big. Good decision to let that ball go and just flip so I could get a controlled shot on it. So that's the second lock for black suit already. I'm sort of doing things backward from what Chris typically does, is go for Doc Ock first, and seem to be doing the backwards way and then going for our wow, nasty sling drain right there. But I was able to get 2 locks going, which on a difficult game, a setup like this can mean a lot. And Chris Compton will be player 4. Let's see if he's able to put any decent points up on the board. So really nothing going from the first 3 players. So now Chris is the one with the opportunity to really jump out in front of everybody. Nice backhand for the Doc Ock shot. It seems to get less rejects that way when it's when the Doc Ock is up. So there are 2 positions for the mechanism to be in, up or down, and when it's up, you have to hit it all the way back in the back of the trough in the Doc Ock shot, and then when it's down, you just have to sort of hit the front of it. It seems to be a lot of rejects out of that when the mechanism is up, because you have to hit the ball so far back in there. So he's going to start his Doc Ock. The other 2 players didn't really get a whole lot going on their first Doc Ock, but he took that opportunity to lock a ball for his black suit. And he's showing some really nice flipper skills. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but he had a really nice flick. He can let that ball go with impunity because the ball save is on. It looks like he let that one go to avoid any dangers. He's still getting those feeds out of the, well, the ball save cut off, so he's not going to get that ball back. I'm surprised. Usually there's a bit of a grace period for you there, but I guess it had expired. So it looks like he's going to go Doc Ock all day until he can sort of accidentally hit the lock target. Let's see who's shooting for it there. Let's see what he does here. Trouble, yep. There may have been an opportunity to try and bounce that ball off the center post there. But as it stands, he is in first place, barely, over Tim, over 7 to 8 million. So Chris is going to step up here with pretty much a useless ball 1 in terms of overall score. So for Chris, it's a 2-ball game. This is a position that he's been in before. He understands that everybody essentially loses. There is no such thing as a perfect game of pinball, as Tim Sexton likes to say. You can find him also on YouTube. And so far, quite imperfect from Chris. He's doing a lot of flailing. I don't know if that was savable or not. Things happen pretty quickly. It just not looking too good for him on the first 2 balls there. So we'll see if Tim's able to come out to a lead here. That's one of the things, about that ball save not being on, is that you can have those 1-2 million point balls where you really just don't do much, and looks like Tim's going to get the exact same treatment. So really, after 2 balls, the first 2 players, not much going on there. So even though I didn't really have that much success in terms of points on the first ball, I did make some pretty decent progress towards my black suit multi-ball. So if I can get that started, then I'll have an opportunity to get out ahead of the other players and presumably take the lead and run with it. A lot of flailing going on there. Time to settle down a little bit. There you go. So that was an attempt to, what I was trying to do there was deaden the momentum of the ball by hitting the bottom of the slingshot. It's sort of like a post pass, but when you do it just right, you can actually keep the ball on that same flipper if the ball is moving. Sort of a failed shot. That was a good decision. That was, I think, the first danger we've seen the whole game. So even though that ball would have been otherwise gone, I took the chance and moved the game. And now I know even that I can get away with that on a later time. I still have an additional danger, and I was able to start my multi-ball and have the opportunity to continue to score points. I think I say this on every single video that we put up, but a ball in the trough is never going to be worth more than a ball with 2 dangers in it. So if you feel like you have to move the game to save the ball, then try it, because you'd be surprised at how much you can actually get away with. So good decision there to cradle up, try to get multi-ball under control. So what I was trying to do there was use one of the balls to knock the ball headed right down the middle out of the path of the drain. It's called an air defense. Looks like I've got 2, 3, or 4 jackpots remaining before I get an opportunity to score a super jackpot. There goes the Doc Ock. So while that ball is tied up, I'm using that time to make shots where I'm only controlling one ball and the other ball is out of the way. So it looks like 2 shots, maybe 1 to 3 shots, right orbit, Doc Ock, and then upper left ramp. And unfortunately, I should have flicked that ball away. That was a savable ball. I don't know what I was thinking there. But some okay points out of that multi-ball. Nothing really earth-shattering. But it did put me in the lead, and as we've seen on the first 2 balls, they can end pretty quickly. So it's not like it's an automatic for you to step up and get 13 million on this, which is crazy to think about. But so what I have now is I have just completed my Sandman, I believe. So that was good for, I believe, 4 million. I've got 750,000 shots lit on the left side, those green flashing targets, and I was able to start my Doc Ock multi-ball with 1 shot because I had already prepared it on the first ball. So my locks are not lit, I believe. So that's the end of the multi-ball, but some pretty decent value considering the scores as they are. Nice outlane nudge there. Great job keeping the ball in play. I knew I could get away with that because I got away with that left to right move earlier, and you're usually going to get away with more left to right. I'm sorry, with more forward and back nudging than you are left to right. See, I've got extra ball lit for 5 million. That's going to be the end of the ball. But because of the way the tilt bobs are set up in these machines, you have more friction on the pendulum forwards and backwards, so it doesn't swing as much as it does when you're moving side to side. So you're typically able to get away with more forward and back motion than you are side to side. And we'll see what Chris Compton's going to have for us on his 3rd ball, as he has 2 more shots remaining to start his 2nd Doc Ock multi-ball mode. The other option would be for him to start Black Suit multi-ball, which he just got his 2nd lock. So all he needs now is 2 shots to Doc Ock, or 2 shots, or 1 shot to the green pick target just below the upper left ramp, and then an orbit. So either way, he's just 2 shots away. So it looks like he's going towards Black Suit, and he's going to get there. It's a great start to Chris's ball. He knows exactly what he needs. So I think I'm sitting there right around 32 million, and he's about half that. So he's got in his mind, okay, I need to at least get to 32 million, and then I need to put as much separation between him and the other players, although he will have another opportunity. This is only the 2nd ball, and he'll know where he's at on the 3rd ball. But a good multi-ball here, as we've seen with these quick drains, could be enough to win the game outright if he's able to put some distance and catch my score of 32 million. So he's got 750,000 a shot on the left side flashing, and he's going to be out of multi-ball. It was decent. You know, he was able to pick up, looks like a little over 12 million, but most of those points you can see there were from the mode. He only picked up about 2 million in jackpots from the multi-ball. So again, sort of the insurance policy mentality you kind of have to have on this game, and he's going to take that opportunity to go for the Doc Ock multi-ball here. So excellent decision making and play from Chris Compton here to be able to set up one multi-ball with another, and he's in good position here to overtake the lead. So he has a certain amount of time to hit the other ball into play, and it'll give him a 3-ball multi-ball, but he chose to go for the lock, and presumably because he knew he had the safety. Okay, well, it's going to give him an extra ball anyway, so maybe it's just a hurry up. You get some additional points if you hit the ball. So he's just going to peck away at jackpots here, and that was a nice decision to go for the black suit lock target there. So he's playing the game the way it is best played, by using the Doc Ock multi-ball to go for. It's a bit of a fumble there, and he probably could have saved that ball, but knowing that he's about to take a second lock and it's only ball 2, pretty conservative play. Needs to kind of take a break here and trap up, see if he can find the shots again, but he's going to finish off Sandman there, so that'll be good for 4 million. And he's got his extra ball lit now also, so that'll be good for a 5 million point shot. So a shot on the left orbital will give you 5 million and a lock. So, oh, a dangerous upper shot there with the upper flipper. Caught just the bottom of that ramp there where there's a post and almost sent him right into the outlane. That was a nice save. So he gets his 5 million. On the second time around for your black suit multi-ball, you have to hit the lock target. I believe you have to hit it twice. I want to say it gets more difficult. I could be wrong about that. We'll find out here in a second. I think that's what he was going for right there. Nice. Okay, so now he has it flashing, so he has to hit it again, and then it'll light his lock. So great ball from Chris there. He's up to 49 million, and he's going to take the lead. So if Chris and Tim and I have bad balls here, he may be able to walk this one off. And that's the way you want to do it. If you're in a position, if you're in that last position, you want to put up your best ball on the first and second balls and not have to use your third ball, but at least you would have the opportunity to do so if you needed it. So Chris picks up a danger there. Maybe unnecessary, but I see what he was doing there. He was trying to give himself a little bit of an insurance in case he hit the post instead of the in lane. He would have been able to bounce that ball out of the area completely. So good decision to give him a danger there, and I think that's only the second or third danger the entire game between all the players. So he says it's about time he picks up his Doc Ock multi-ball. So we'll see if he's able to capitalize on it. Kind of got a nasty reject there out of that Doc Ock shot on the jackpot there. Should have probably gotten credit for that, but that's pinball. It's a physical game. If it doesn't go back in the shot, it doesn't go. So he'll get both of those back from his ball save, and let's see if he's able to peck away at some points here. So he picks up a lock there for black suit. So there it is. So he's got 2 balls locked for black suit now. Wow, that was a nice backhand, but it cost him. But that's okay. It cost him. He's still only got 1 more shot to start his multi-ball, and he does. So even though he lost that ball because he was in a multi-ball, he was able to make the shot with relative impunity and go from one multi-ball immediately into another. These are the sort of advanced strategies that you'll see from A division and higher up tournament players. B division players might think, okay, well, let's do one multi-ball and then we'll work towards the other one. But an A division player will know the game well enough, especially if it's a competition game that you'll see frequently in tournaments. Well, an A division player will know the game well enough to know that you can not only stack multi-balls, but the relative points and merits of doing both strategies. So yeah, you can stack them, but you're not really going to get as many points as if you had played them separately. So these are the types of things that Chris thinks about, and I know that he reads the rule sheets to these games. He's a very active member of Tilt Forums, and Tilt Forums is the sort of the mecca for pinball rule sheets. That's where you go if you want to learn about the rules to a game. So I know he studies them a lot. So he's got his 5 million point extra ball and is going to dribble out there at a multi-ball, but that's okay. He looks like he's going to go for the backhand. That's pretty smart. This is a safer way to do it. If he happens to miss, he gets a better bounce off of the lock target, and he may be able to get some progress towards his multi-ball. So he's at 45 million. So he's creeping up on first place here after those two multi-balls. Another nice in lane. He didn't really have to do much to save that ball, but it's good. Yeah, he's got the ramp reject. You see that a lot on AC/DC, but not so much on Spider-Man, so that was sort of interesting. But he's going to finish with 57. He's in the lead, and as we've seen earlier in the game, it's certainly possible to have a garbage ball in this game. So with his ball saves turned off, it could be anybody's game at this point, and we'll see if Tim's able to come back on him. Tim's certainly capable of doing that. Average game for Tim on Spider-Man is a lot more than that. So he'll be out here, and Tim's going to take 4th place, but that's okay. Because he's, I believe, in 2nd place for the entire tournament at this point. Maybe 3rd. So he's been playing well all day, and you have to consider that every point matters. So even though he didn't do that well on this game, he's got to put that out of his mind and take it to the next game. That mentality. So it looks like I've got my locks lit. Not sure which lock that is. But my locks are lit, and I have a 5 million point extra ball on hand. So I'm just going to take the lock shot. You can backhand that extra ball, but I guess at the time I was feeling pretty comfortable with the forehand. So nice shot there on the fly to Doc Ock. 6 times to finish Venom, and then extra ball is still lit. So that's your Venom shot right there. You can also collect a Venom shot through the upper left ramp. So I'm going to start Doc Ock with one more multi-ball shot. So I'm working on my Venoms, working on my Doc Ocks. Those are an attempt there at the Doc Ock. Nice. Oh, careful. Got kind of lucky there, but that's part of the game. So I'm going to start my Doc Ock with Venom mode running. That's a nice shot on the fly there to start the multi-ball, collect that hurry up. So ball save starting to flash. As it starts to get a little bit faster, that's when you know you're getting towards the end of your ball save. And most games, that was a fumble, most games will give you a somewhat of a grace period. So nice cradle separation there, decided not to flip. Really worked out, and I'm able to, even though the ball didn't lock, I collected the lock there for Black Suit. And I believe that was the 3rd lock. So what I've just done now is stack the multi-balls together. So now you just have to sort of take advantage of what you have. So ideally, I would have liked to waited to start that, or in hindsight, I should have done that. But now you kind of have to play the hand you've been dealt. So just pick off as many jackpots as you can, which in this case is very few. That was pretty poor multi-ball play from me. Oh, still going. Okay, well, that's good. There you go. That's how you do it. Now you want to do a cradle separation. You want to get ball from one flipper to the other. Ideally, you want to have one ball on each flipper. So even though I drain out a multi-ball there, I'm close to 70 million at this point. So currently in the lead, I can do no worse than second place in this game. So now I'm thinking, how do I get separation between myself and Chris? Now this is the point of the game where once I've got to my basic strategy down, I'm not really sure what to do. So I'm trying to think about how do I extend my lead as quick as I can. I'm not close to either multi-ball. It's about 8 shots to Ock. So I'm trying to think how do I get the cheap points. And I was trying to finish off my Sandman there. And I believe the mechanism was down so the ball didn't drop, and ultimately it cost me the ball. And as a general rule, you want to keep the ball away from the center. Usually the center shot is a sucker shot most of the time, because you want to avoid anything that's pointing directly towards the flippers because of that reason right there.
You have to get two on average.
So I'm trying to get a rules explanation, and apparently the
Two on average.
the
So it's either goblin or spell.
Battle Royale mini wizard mode is lit after you complete all the villains 2 times. So even though I completed them 1 time, it wasn't lit. I'm not sure which ones. I'm sure I could have gotten that information from the instant info if I had had the time to think about it long enough. But either way, still a decent game considering how difficult this is set up. And we're going to see if Chris Compton can chase me down. So he's already locked. He's already in 3rd place. Doesn't really have that much to go for 2nd place. So right now he's thinking, all right, well, I've got to get myself 8 million points just so that I can for sure lock down 2nd place. And that's a really good way to start chipping away at it right there, is getting multi-ball. And now at this point, you just want to get as many jackpots as you can. Think about Doc Ock if you can, but right now you're thinking 3rd place. And then you want to worry about 1st place once you get there. I mean, I'm sorry, you think about 2nd place, and then once you get that, you want to worry about the 1st place. You want to think about the win. So targets on the left are worth $1.5 million or so a piece when they're roving like that. So that'd be a decent strategy. While you're in multi-ball, you have your extra balls in case you drain. So he's down to 2 balls. Nice show of skill there. A lot of people would have fumbled that ball, but that was a nice move. So he has locked down 2nd place. At this point, he's thinking, okay, how am I going to get 20 million points so that I can get to 80 million and lock down 1st place? Looks like he's going to choose a Doc Ock all day, but fortunately for him, he only needs 1 more shot for his multi-ball. So if he can get that, looks like he's going to take the backhand here. A little early. It's all right. He can make the adjustment. It's a pretty safe return there, and he just knocks it on the fly. So he's in a really good spot here. Again, you want to pick up as many jackpots as you can. Worry about black suit later. So it looks like he's going for Sandman kill. So he's getting a 1.4 million per hit, and then when you complete it, you get an additional 4 million. So he's also got 750 lit roving on the left side, so he's got a lot of things working for him right now. That was a nice little bounce off the post in multi-ball. I don't know if it was intentional, but it looked pretty sweet. He's also got Venom running, so pretty much every shot on the playfield is lit for a jackpot for him right now. And he got rejected out of the, he got it that time. First time it went right through and rejected the completion, so he gets 4 million there. And at this point, he's got to be pretty close. I like how he's slowing it down. He's got nice control going. He only needs 2 million points. So if he's able to pick up even some pop bumpers. I think at this point in the bonus, he's got it. So I finished with 76 million, and he was able to chase it down. And I mean, considering how difficult this is set up, that's really impressive. And I'll say that over the last couple of years since I got started, the level of competition in the South, it has just exponentially gotten harder. There were very few players at this level a couple of years ago, and now you see these players. Not everybody is at this level, but it's much more common, and there are more people vying for a tournament win than there ever were down here in the South. So it's been great, and it's due to the dedication of the operators and the guys who help us out and put games on location. So we're gonna move on to our last game, which is Matahari. And this is a Matahari that has been cursed for me the last couple of tournaments over there at Mike's, but not because it's poorly maintained, but because it just doesn't want to agree with me. But such is life, and this will be the final game of the tournament. So essentially, this game will determine the tournament winner. There is a possibility for anybody to win at this point, but Chris Warren would have to come in last place. So if Chris came in last place and I win, if Chris comes in last place and I win Matahari, then Chris and I would go for a tiebreaker for first place. So let's see if he's able to put up a tournament winning ball here on the first ball in Matahari. Nice decision making there. Just to flip the ball up and out of danger. Don't let it roll off into no man's land and into the drain. Really, the only strategy to this game is to flip the ball into the saucer up there that he just rattled around into. So it's a game that requires you to make a bunch of shots up the middle, which if you're not in the groove with it, it can be pretty costly if you miss. And the whole idea is to double, triple, and 5x your bonus. Max out your bonus. Nice slap save from Chris there. Drop targets are worth some points, but nothing major. And then there are a couple of orbits that will add to your bonus, I believe. So he's got his bonus at about 30,000, it looks like, at the moment. So he's putting together a really good ball on first ball. Looks like the game's leaning a little bit to the left. So if that's something that you are aware of as a player, you can use that to your advantage. See, ordinarily, I don't know if he would have been able to make that save, but because it's leaning a bit to the left, he certainly can. Looks like he's got 2x bonus right now, so really his one concentration, because all the drop targets are down, is the shot up the middle. And I believe his bonus is maxed out, so if he can multiply that, another left leaner. I think ordinarily that ball would have been down the middle. But he obviously recognizes that there was no need to make a move there. And when your bonus is maxed out and you're already at 100,000 putting up a good ball on ball one, there's absolutely no reason for you to tilt this game. Tilting on a valley from this era is basically a death sentence because you're counting on the majority of your score almost, the majority of the time coming from just your bonus. So that's going to be trouble, but nice save. Gosh, nice save. Chris is really putting together an all-star ball here. 216,000 before the bonus countdown is pretty impressive.
Almost got Scott.
He's already got Scott. The only way he could possibly not win is to spend last and have Fox win.
He still isn't able to get his bonus there. I'm sure he's a little bit peeved. The problem is that the saucer up there is so shallow on this game, and he gets a power out lane, but nice ball from Chris. So he put up over 300,000 before the ball even drained, which is amazing.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Huge, huge ball. So he's over at 420, 430, and it just keeps going up. That's a tournament winning ball right there from Chris Warren. That was huge. That was really impressive. And that's pretty much par for the course for Chris. He, any given time when he's called upon, he can turn it on.
Oh, he looks like that lady chef with the
So
spike hair. Have you ever
let's see if
watched
Tim is able to catch him.
What's her name? She has white hair.
Tim's certainly capable of putting up a ball like that at any given point too. So we were playing in league, for example, last night, and he put up a 2.5 billion point ball on Batman 66. For those of you who know the game, that's like 4 games worth of score. So he's certainly capable, although I don't think he puts in as much practice on games of this era. He concentrates mainly on Stearns, but he's certainly capable of making the saves necessary, like that in-lane save right there, to do well in these games. Got a bad bounce there, but still 2 more balls to go. And it's kind of difficult stepping up to a game after somebody just put up a monster ball like that. And these older games are sort of designed to be set up difficult, especially at the pitch that they have these games for the tournament. I mean, you're talking about the front legs are all the way down and the back legs are all the way up. So you're talking about a grade of about 7 on these games. So let's see what I'm able to do here on the first ball. Really important that you punch the saucer, and again, it looked like it rolled right over it, but it's just so shallow that 90% of the time when you shoot it up there on this particular one, that it's going to come right back at you like that. Probably could have gone away with not flipping there and gone for the bounce pass to try to control the ball a little bit, but again, probably could have let that one go too. I was having trouble finding the center shot. It's just the flippers are on this particular Matahari are set so steep that the shot is earlier than you would think that it would be. So I got a nice little doubler there on the bonus. But I really haven't collected much bonus because I'm not hitting drop targets and I'm not hitting the orbits. Just sort of incidentally picking those up. And that's usually my strategy on this game, because once you max out your multipliers, that was a savable ball. But once you max out your multipliers, then you can focus on your left and right orbits. So it looks like 24,000 from me, even though I was able to keep the ball in play for a decent amount of time. Just wasn't any significant kind of points. So if that puts Chris's ball in perspective, he got over 10 times as many points as both Tim and me. Almost 20 times the amount of points that I put up. So let's see what Chris Compton has for us on his first ball. I have not really watched him play games from this era, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. That was a good decision to flip that away, because trying to control the ball too much on these games sounds counterintuitive, but it actually is a pretty decent strategy a lot of times. Nice live catch there. So he's picking up some bonus. Every time you roll over that switch, it gives you bonus. So even though he only hit the shot one time, he was able to collect both of those for two bonus increases. because they sort of dribbled up and then dribbled down. So he's able to continue. He's doing a great ball here. Doing a nice job keeping the ball in play. Does a good job of recognizing that. Wow, nice save there. That it can be tricky to tell whether the ball's actually going to stop on the flipper or not. So having the awareness to flip it away and possibly lose control for a couple of seconds rather than have the ball go right off the tip of the flipper. And there's nothing worse than knowing that you could have saved the ball and you just watch it go right down the drain. So great ball from Chris. Nice ball one there. So he's going to put up over 125, 20, 30. So excellent first ball. 155 for Chris Compton. Chris Warren is a guy who likes to listen to music when he plays. It helps him get in the zone. He listens to a lot of heavy rock and roll. Everybody has a different kind of music. A lot of guys listen to techno. Some guys listen to dubstep, but usually it's something pretty upbeat. I don't think you'll find anybody listening to Phil Collins. Wow, it was a nice save there. Looks like the lanes also light your pop bumpers. Yep, so he's going to drop the ball there, but that's okay because he's collected a little bit of bonus. He's up 522,000, which is just a remarkable score after 2 balls, and he's making everybody else chase him down. So he's in really good position here to win the tournament, and it is entirely possible for Timmy to come back and rattle off a win here. And I believe there are situations with the overall scoring that Chris can still lose, but if he wins, he wins the tournament. So he's certainly given himself an amazing opportunity to do so on the first 2 balls. Really, the first ball was pretty incredible. So Tim is begging for the ball to go in the hole, and as is the case the majority of the time, it doesn't want to comply. So that's a pretty dangerous shot right there coming down off those pop bumpers. If you miss that and you hit one of those pop bumpers, it comes screaming back at you. So it looks like he's really wanting to complete the lanes up there. I forget exactly what that does. But because there's so little objects on the playfield or so many features on the playfield, they're all important. So in order to have a good score on this game, you kind of have to touch on a little bit of everything. It's basically shoot the ball. It's almost like your electromechanical strategy. Shoot the ball up top. Don't let it drain. When it comes back down, shoot it back up again and watch good things happen. That's the key, is that in order for good things to happen, you have to keep the ball in play for a long time, which can be really difficult depending on how the game is set up. So he's able to complete his lanes up top. Completes his drop targets. And Tim is putting up a really great ball here. Gets a nice saucer there. So Tim's giving him a run for his money right now, for sure, because he's already racked up some pretty significant bonus. If he can work on multiplying that. Still a nice ball. Great ball from Tim. So at this point, I'm in a pretty difficult position. I've got to put up a monstrous ball on my second or third ball just to come in even third place on this game, which is insane to think about. Trying to climb that hill that they just put up in front of me. Knowing that Chris Compton's a good player and he's right behind me. Yeah, they're all giving me words of encouragement because they know how difficult this is. Yep, just keep him shooting for that saucer, baby, is what he says.
I hope it doesn't lip out of the saucer. Only 9 times out of 10.
So we'll see if I'm able to make some things happen here. Got my lanes completed. It's a good start. Looks like bonus is doubled. Good decision to let that one go. But again, I was a little late because of the depressed flippers on that. Just it's really a luck shot. And like I was saying earlier, if you hit that pop bumper, you're in big trouble because there's nothing you can do about having the ball go right down the middle. The flippers are too far apart to make any saves if it's right down the center like that one was. And unfortunately, I'm going to be way behind for my third ball, and I'm going to have to put up something pretty monstrous if I want to be in a position to place high up in the tournament. Or on the podium, I'll say first, second, or third. Because you have to keep in mind that there is another group still playing elsewhere in the tournament, and all of the points at this point, at the start of the round, were, I believe Chris had maybe like 86 points from the whole day, and the fourth place player only had like 82 points. So if fourth place or fifth place put up monstrous scores, it's possible that you could still get past even in the final round of this tournament. So we'll see how things shake out here. Chris Compton's putting up a really nice ball here, showing some good control. Nice save right there. Things happened really fast, but he was able to get it under control. He was wanting the saucer, and he got a bad just feed off of that right side of the orbit. And still a decent ball. I mean, he's still in pretty good shape here. He's sitting at 288, and he's put himself in a position to make a move late in the game on the third ball. So let's see how far Chris Warren is able to extend his lead here, and if he's able to put up a decent score, he could win the tournament right here on this ball. So he's able to get his double bonus. He's got his saucer. And he's able to triple it. So the saucer really is the key to this game. If you're able to double, triple your bonus, he's going to let that go. He's going to collect his bonus. He's pretty far ahead of everybody else. And putting up 545 on the final round of the tournament, knowing that you need a win to take home the trophy, is incredible. That is all-star play right there, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing, really. So excellent play all day from Chris Warren. And if he's able to pull off the win here, he certainly deserves it. So Tim's at 345, and we've seen him put up big balls before. So he just needs to chip away. He's already tripled his bonus. So now I believe he's at 4x bonus one more time, and he's got max bonus. He can start picking away at other things. Orbits, he's picking up bonus there. But I think he's probably going to continue to feed that top saucer shot. Good decision not to flip there, but it was almost costly because the game's leaning to the left. So he was able to save it, but he put himself in a little bit of a dangerous position there. So he's maxed out on his bonus, I believe. There you go. So now he's just trying to pick up orbits, see if he can pick up some bonus increase here. Drop targets, orbits. See, you can tell he's maxed out because he's not concentrating on that shot up at the top anymore. This is where Tim really shines, is when he knows he has to grind something out. He can do it. He can come back and beat you. Nice save there. Little flick. That's trouble. So he's going to let it go. Great ball. knowing that he needed it.
It's gonna be close.
Bonus is going to be really close.
Unless if you max it out, it's 145.
At 28.
He's at 495 right now. He's over 5. He needs 545 to pass Chris.
Trying to fight the 50 on the out.
And he's got him. Got him by 4,000 points. He got Chris Warren. Amazing ball from Tim. Wow. I mean, consistently putting up points on this game is difficult, and he had 3 solid balls.
I'm ready for
Well,
this.
2 solid balls.
Make it to the
The,
playoff.
the, the second and third
I'm
ball,
ready for this.
that was championship pinball from Chris, too. I mean, from
4
Timmy.
people watching the stream. Ready for the show?
Yeah, so again, with the words of encouragement, based on the huge hill that I have to climb here, it's not looking good for me, but who knows, maybe I'm able to put up something stellar, and that's not going to do it. So I'm going to be out here with 55,000 to these guys, uh, basically 10 times my score. Just wasn't meant to be. Sometimes you just catch a bad break, and this game for the last 2 tournaments has been just really not not great for me. It came down to the same game, same tournament, same group, top group last year, and I wasn't able to get it done then either. So I'm gonna go to Mike's place one day and burn this thing down while he's asleep. But let's see what Chris is gonna do for us. Nice save there. Wow, great save. So he's a 3x bonus. Needs to put up something pretty special here. And I don't know. I think he's 1 point away from being able to win the tournament, but he could still put himself in second place here with a win here. I know we were doing the math right before we started playing this game to see what everybody needed to end up where. And I don't think he can win, but he could still pull off a solid second place here. And for this being the biggest tournament that the state of Alabama has ever had, pulling off second place is really saying something. I mean, if you're in the top group, you have played some excellent pinball today. And he's going to be out there, but still, I mean, he put up over 400,000 on it, so that's insane. 500 plus thousand games, and one 400,000 plus game, and I'm sitting over there with 55,000. So Chris Warren is going to be your tournament champion, even though he came in second place on that game. He has enough points to win the championship. So Chris Warren's going to come in second. Timothy Street is going to come. I mean, I'm sorry. Chris Warren's going to be your winner. Timothy Street is going to come in second place. Third place is going to be, I believe it was Scott Mount from the second group, and then Chris Compton is going to take fourth place overall in a three-way playoff for between me and Chris, and I believe his name was Jared, one of our players from Tennessee. We had a one-game playoff, and Chris won. I came in second, and Jared came in sixth place. So I will be sure to post the overall tournament um, standings in the description below if you want to check out the full list and see the amount of IFPA points that everybody received for this tournament. But I want to thank Mike Gray especially for hosting it for us and everybody who showed up. It was a wonderful time. I want to thank y'all, and we're going to look forward to next year's Pinball and Pelham tournament. And thanks guys again for tuning in. I enjoyed having you. You guys are the reason that I make these videos, and hopefully you guys like it. So if you have anything to say, let me know. If you know one of the players that I was